eagerly anticipated visit to the Globe Life studio in Nanaimo for Victronic TV. Look who I've got with me here. Mr. Marcus Visionary, all the way from Toronto. What's really cool is, drum and bass lives with us all through the ages, and one DJ that best represents that journey and the decades is Marcus Visionary. So talk to us a little bit about coming out to the West Coast, particularly Nanaimo. It's a beautiful harbour city on the West Coast. It's got all the nature and the beauty. As a Toronto junglist, deep in the game, what do you think coming out here?
I've always loved coming out to Vancouver. So the last time I was in Vancouver, I came out for Shaw DJs, but I've played for Red Room, which is probably my favorite club in Vancouver. Just the sound system is unbelievable.
This is the OG. This is the Goldie. This is the Aphrodite of Canada. Right here, right now, just for you, for this intimate crowd. Big ups Victronic TV.
I've played for Vern, Full Spectrum Entertainment, the last 3 times I've come out to Victoria. And I'm staying on Salt Spring Island because I've got family there. And then I played for Josette in Nanaimo, my last tour out. So I love it here. So now that family's out here, I've just been coming out here and putting the word out all over BC and letting people know, I'm here between these dates. Whoever wants to pick up a date kind of thing.
It's really up to the promoters to sort of keep the vibe alive. You can book some locals, any time of the day, right? But what is your message to promoters who are thinking about booking out of town headliners? Because Toronto is really the roots of drum and bass in Canada. Especially if you go back to like the late 90s and early 2000s. So what's your message to, promoters like Josette here who sort of, they have big names in the game on the radar?
You know what? I honestly, that's a tough one because bookings have changed all across the map, period. But I still sort of believe in the way things used to be, in that I'm hoping that there are more people out there curating lineups based on like the music and if you put out music, if you have a label, and which we do, right? If celebrating the artists that are putting in the work, I think is really important. I'm a show on Cool FM, and I try to contribute, and I think that's really important because we're kind of getting into a phase of and I mean, here's the thing, it's a tricky one because there's a place for everything, right? Model DJs now is a thing, like Instagram, and it's a thing, and they're very successful. So it's we have a pop aspect to underground music now, and it's not just for drum and bass. So in electronic music, there's a pop version of everything now. There's of every aspect of every genre.
Do you get an invite to the Junos?
Actually, my friend Flipside has been encouraging me to do it, but jungle is it's a hard fit for the Junos, especially the stuff I make. It's 5 to 7 minutes long, and you know what I mean. They want a 2 or 3 minute track,
Where's drum and bass at in Canada? Because you've got that sort of that hardcore fan base that aren't going anywhere, but then attracting some of the younger generation in, I think, is starting to work. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's very healthy, especially in Toronto. We have shows every weekend, and I mean out here, obviously, BC's got some of the best festivals in Canada by far. In Ontario, we don't even have a festival right now. That's something that we're hoping that we can change, right? We're starting to get indoor festivals and so on. We want to build some music conferences and some things so that we can pass the education down to the younger audience. Because, for example, me and some of the DJs, we were just talking about how people are playing without headphones and they're playing without monitor speakers. And because the thing is now, it's they're going to Long and McQuaid and they're I want to be a DJ, and they're getting sold gear and they don't have a template. There's nobody teaching them what the setup of a DJ booth is. They're learning from watching YouTube or Instagram or whatever. So I think that it's up to the older people and the industry to pass down the knowledge of well, this is how a DJ booth is set up, because I was saying Josette's amazing because she understands that you need professional gear, so but I've been going to shows, like one of the shows I went to in Toronto was for a younger promoter the other day, and I almost walked out because I didn't have the gear to perform, right? And I played the show and I actually regretted it after, because if you don't have the gear to perform, you're set up to fail, right? And it wasn't a good set, so I promised myself I won't do that anymore, right? But at the same time, in the end, I actually blamed myself, because I thought to myself, you know what? You have to confirm your rider, like what you need, and you have to make sure that you have the equipment that you need to perform, and that's really on you. And so if you leave it up to the promoters, sometimes they just give you what they have, right? And we're in a time where everyone is actually working on different gear. Like tonight, there's 3 setups up there, right? So that's starting to happen, right?
I remember when you used to walk in the club and you had somebody carrying your records for you. I remember those days.
Yeah. I you know what? You always need a good box boy, right?
Yeah.
You gotta protect the back,
But, okay, so, and have you ever thought about retiring? Because, some people say, oh, that guy, he's getting a bit long in the tooth, or I remember that guy from back in the day. Like, you must have thought maybe about retiring at some point, but what keeps you coming back then? Because I'm 46, and I was a little teeny bopper when I first saw you playing, like back in the late 90s.
I realize it's funny. It's a good question, because a lot of my peers are still in the game, and they're in their 60s now, and they're still out there like full time. Like
the MCs, like they're getting up there.
I think you retire when you decide you're going to retire. The good thing is knowing now that I'm hoping, knock on wood, that I'm going to retire doing this, right? I said that to someone yesterday. I was like, wow, and that's an amazing thing, because when I started, I never thought I was going to have an entire life in this business, right? And there's ageism and all these things, but I think that just is part of like the competition, of course your younger competition is going to want to clear out the old guys because they just feel like they want, but
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Hey, you youngins out there, it's not happening.
You know what? It hasn't been happening because everyone's so passionate about it. Like all of the guys that I've started with from the early 90s, they're all still here, to the point where some guys left for like 20 years and they've just come back. Yeah. And these guys are in their 50s and 60s and they're pressing vinyl and they've restarted all their labels from the early 90s. So the passion is super strong, and I don't think there is an age to music, as long as you are physically healthy enough to continue, because it's not an easy job, man. Like late nights, the flying, the traveling, like it's a hard one, like especially if you've got back-to-back gigs. Like everybody knows, it's not an easy job. But I eventually I would like to retire, but I'm definitely not in a position to retire right now. It's my job and it always has been, so I'm gonna continue as long as I'm healthy. You
have a strong connection with the UK. You still doing stuff over there as well, or?
Yes. My last European tour, I actually had to cancel it because the expenses went skyrocket. Like basically what happened, I was supposed to go play in Germany after I was in London, and that used to cost like 40 or 50 quid just to fly over, and my booking agent, which is Tanya from UMC, and she basically said to me, she was like, it's the cheapest ticket I'm getting is €300. So when I calculated everything, I was going to come home maybe about 1,500 to 2,000 in the hole, because the hotel prices have literally tripled, not just doubled, tripled, right? And so there's a lot of things that happened after COVID, that it's made it very difficult for, if you're not an A-list artist, right? Like for example, I'll give you an example. Andy C, big up Andy C, right? But when he goes to the States, the visa there is $5,000 USD, right? For him, that's like half of his smallest gig will take care of the visa. But for me, my whole tour won't pay for the visa alone, right? So, and I fall in where, to be honest with you, where most artists fall in, and because I promote as well. And also, drum and bass is still that underground music, unless you're performing at Ultra or one of these really huge festivals, it's still an underground music. Whereas people are playing for 150, 200 people. They might get a 1,500 person venue, and then the next gig there's a 50 person venue. Like, this is drum and bass. Even back home, like. We have Destiny events, so when we play there, 2,500 people.
Destiny's still going?
Destiny's still going really strong. And they've been using Drake's nightclub, which is History, where they do like Andy C and Chase the Status. But then the smaller shows that they've been doing, well, actually, they've been putting huge artists at this club called Nomad. And they've been selling it out every time. It's only 700 people, right? So, but Toronto's like that. It's like 700 people. 100 people the next weekend, right? And drum and bass as a whole, like, is like that. It's not like it's underground music's like that. I find it, in general, it's not all. I think that's one thing the kids need to know. It's not always like going to be 10,000 people, 50,000 people, right? Like, so you have to be willing to play at little smaller things as well.
You've played Shambhala, you've played some of the festivals out the West Coast. What's the difference in vibe between the East and the West? What do you find?
There's definitely, I find, like a little, like, I mean, now it's when people book you here, I think they really want your sound. But I've definitely played at more EDM oriented festivals out here where I've had to, you can tell when something's not connecting. So like I find that a lot of the bigger festivals, it's more of like an EDM sound. There is a different sound. It's hard to put your finger on, but they like it hard and heavy here, which is like, and more party oriented stuff, like it's different. Whereas in Toronto, I can get away with a much more really underground. I play a wide variety of music as well. Like I can play, whether it's like the Raga D&B stuff or the really underground jungle and breakbeat hardcore. Like we've got scenes for everything back home. And that's our connection to the UK. Like that's really, really that I guess we've worked on for so many years. Like, I definitely would say Toronto is definitely more similar to London than the West Coast, like out here, for example, like the breaks, funky breaks and all that stuff was huge. And I think that inspired a lot of the other music. Like I've been to festivals where I walked in and, actually I played, I can't remember the name of the festival, but I walked in and everybody was in neon and they were playing like the happiest funky breaks. And I was just like, it was at a time where I was just playing jungle, like new school jungle. And they positioned me right after this. The stage was full and I cleared the place out. And I'll never forget it because now I'm actually prepared to come out here, and if I need to play like a more EDM, DMB, because at the end of the day, a lot of people don't know who you are. They just want to have a good time. So as long as your audience is there and you give them something that's 100% you have to have a balance, right? Because you don't want an empty room. You don't want to, you know what I mean? Like you can't just play to your 5 fans that are there, like, But at the end, I'll, sometimes when I have to change it up, I'll see them and they'll be like, "Thank you for playing those for me. I know that you had to play those for me," right? So, but then you get some gigs where the promoter will say, "I want you, 100% you, and I want a jungle set or something like that."
Yeah. And
they will throw you in front of the crowd, and they're like kind of saying, "Please don't cave in to play pop." Or, don't water down what you're going to do. And you find situations like that. And then you have to do that, right? You have to give, because you're being hired to play like that specific thing. So, yeah, that's not easy. Because like when a promoter says to you, "I want this, and I don't want you to veer away from that," but the crowd's not feeling it, that's a tough one.
It's like playing a wedding.
Yeah. I mean,
can be.
Yeah.
A little bit about working with MCs, because the drum and bass scene on the West Coast, the MC has kind of been an afterthought for the most part. I know in Toronto at one point it was, it was like there was too many MCs at the events. What's the MC culture like in Toronto now, as we work to try and build it here on the West Coast? An MC, in my opinion, should finesse the set. Do you like working with MCs, and who's a shining star right now?
I do like working with MCs, but I will say that how it's changed is if I play 10 gigs now in North America, 8 of them there's no MC in the building.
Yeah.
There's not even a host. So I basically host my own set, because you have to interact with the crowd. Like, I'll pick up the mic and talk to people. I've had to learn how to do that because, as I say, for the most part, there are none. Promoters have struggled with that, right? Like, because the MC culture. So in Toronto, we actually have a scene for MCs, and the parties are very specific. Like the other day, I did a party, Boxing night, and I had Bandit MC and Caddy Cad. Well, it's going to be a special kind of party for that. So like, it's always like MC party, no MC party, you know what I mean? And people will decide whether or not they're going to go to a show like that. Because here's the thing, some of them don't get the MC culture at all. And they're like, why are you ruining the music? Right? So it's actually changed the way that I DJ, because when you play with MCs, you have to let the rhythms go, right? And because most of my shows are without MCs, I'm filling every spot in the music, and I'm making sure that you're keeping people entertained without MCs. So, and the music has changed a lot now. There's not a lot of room it depends.
A lot of the tracks are very busy.
They're very busy because I think also too, especially on the EDM, DMB side of things, like the more pop side of things, those guys aren't working with MCs as much. They're MCing themselves. They're picking up the mic and so the music is being impacted. Underground drum and bass, ironically, which is just drum and bass, right? If you're talking about like break and total science, like it's funny that people call that underground drum and bass, but just drum and bass, like there's tons of room for the MCs, and they work with MCs all the time. Like if you go to Sun and Bass, it's just MCs, those tracks aren't filled. It's just
we like what he said in here, because you're sitting with two of the island's drum and bass MCs right here. This is Noodles and myself, the agent. So we're kind of like lone rangers around here, like trying to build a little bit of a brand for it. So it's good to get your feedback on that. What are you expecting for this show tonight? We got shots of you right now that we're looking at. I mean, it looks like you're deep in the D&B arena.
I have no expectations. Like, I'm just gonna see what happens. You know what I mean? But the last time I played for Josie, it was a nice show. It was a really, really Yeah,
what's it like working with Josette? We got a Nanaimo promoter here, really trying hard. What's it like working alongside her?
So far, it's been really good, man. I can't complain. Like, you know what I mean? She's super nice, and like she's a great host, and I know she's really passionate. She actually told me tonight, like she got really back into DJing after the last show, like that I did with her. So I was really chuffed about that, So, but yeah, we need it, because it's great to see such a small place like Nanaimo and Salt Spring and all these things doing drum and bass, and it's, and I salute, hats off to you and all, like Vern and all the people, because it's not easy. Like, it's not easy to get people to come out, and promoting is like the hardest job, so hats off to the promoters, man. You know what I mean? Yeah,
there you go, guys. Victronic TV, we got Marcus Visionary up here at the Globe Live Studio. There's Noodles right there, yes man. And we've had an exclusive interview with the one, the only Marcus Visionary, right here, Toronto bad man. Yeah. Respect, brethren. Appreciate you.
Respect.
Yeah. Nice.
When I grab that microphone, I swear I take it back. If you're talking off the British style, I always take it back. Judging if you want that I'm from you, I fall, I'll take it back.